Hey, good evening, everybody. Chef Marshall O'Brien here, and this is Cooking with Confidence, our weekly live streaming interactive cooking show. I'm super excited that you're here tonight because we've got an awesome recipe. But before we talk about the recipe, you might be saying, well, live streaming, interactive, what's that whole bit about? Well, we want you to have the recipes shopping list so that we can cook together. The whole purpose of the show, okay, help you have a positive experience. At least one night a week, I could have more positivity in my life, and so can you. And this is a great way to do it. Date night, family night, friend night, having fun in the kitchen night. Second point is want to help you build your skills and confidence in the kitchen. Third point, help you get some stress out of your life with a little meal planning ease. And finally, fourth, I want to help you nourish yourself and not just feed yourself. So great show. Please make sure that you are following us we're live streaming on Facebook here, Chef Marshall O'Brien. We're facing live streaming on YouTube. You're going to type in Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence. That's on YouTube, Instagram, Chef Marshall O'Brien. But get us up on all the social media channels so that we can stay in touch with you. We publish, I guess we publish. We email every Saturday morning out the upcoming recipe so that you can be in touch with that. And if you want to do the recipe Thursday night, right now, in just a little bit, you can. And if you don't, no big deal. You can always watch the replay on YouTube, and then that way you can do it. You just can't answer your questions. That's one of the things that I love with the show is that we really make it be as much about you as we possibly can. So we're going to be focusing on skills and on tastes and benefits, and that's going to make a whole lot of sense. Benefits like health benefits. Got a great, awesome, easy recipe. You're going to love it. Tonight's recipe, we're doing a savory, hearty lentil stew. Super delicious, super easy, super versatile. You can a lot of things you can do with it, and in a lot of ways you can prepare it. For this recipe, we have lentils, carrots, zucchini. We have some fire roasted tomatoes, some garlic, a little thyme and cumin, olive oil, onions, a little salt and pepper, some broth, vegetable broth, and it's really simple. I mean, the brunt of the work is in kind of the preparation, and that's one of the things that we always talk about is if you want to make life easy in the kitchen, make sure that you are adequately prepared. So you've got your ingredients, you've got your recipes. Speaking of which, I want to have your photos of your finished dishes. You know, every week we give a shout out to all your hard work, and so we love showcasing what you're doing, and it's a fun way to get other people excited because it's one thing when a chef shows you how to do it, but when other folks are doing it and you're seeing it and it looks great and they're talking about how much fun it is and how much wonderful, delicious it is, and it helps build that, it's inspiring and it's motivating. So every week we love to acknowledge people, and I just appreciate when you submit your pictures. And so please take pictures of your action shots, toasting with a glass, finished dish, whatever the case you're doing. Please let us know. You can just put the picture and your comments in the comment box. Speaking of comment box, we'll be taking your questions through chat. We always do that in the chat box. So really appreciate you having here. My right-hand gal, Miss Jonna, I understand is on her way, but since she's not here, I have the most equally beautiful and handsome, rugged Gabriel until he gets kicked out of the spot. But
why, thank you.
So thank you, sir. Appreciate it. A little quick shout out to Alex. And Alex and Gabriel help produce the show. Jonna, who will be here in a minute, who is my life partner, who helps with the moderating. I want to know your comments, your thoughts and stuff. So make sure that you're putting those in the chat box so that we can, make sure you're going in the right direction and all that. All right. Well, speaking of the right direction,
I'm already being kicked out.
All right, you're out of here, buddy. And Jonna is here. Nice to see you, babe. So we've got our cutting board. We've got our knife. Just make sure you got your ingredients and all that. Please, as we are getting set up here, we're going to field your questions and all that kind of stuff. A few of you were asking about, how do you know, like, for sharpening your knife and how to keep it sharper longer. And that was a question that was asked in the last week's episode. I want you to have a honing steel at a 45-degree angle, as I was just doing. You can alternate strokes, as you can see here, doing that. So this is a good little tip for you. This will help keep it sharper longer. Another tip that I want you to be aware of, if you are cutting food and you scrape it just like you see me, ooh, listen to that sound. Oh, sorry, Alex. Yeah. That is your knife dulling, so don't do that, all right? You want to flip the knife back on the back like that, and you scrape it off. And I'll show you what that's all about here very, very shortly. I'm going to do a half batch for the recipe. Again, if you don't have tonight's recipe and you're saying, hey, I like this kind of idea of cooking with the chef in real time, because that's the whole point, make sure you go to chefmarshallobrien.com/show. Doesn't cost anything other than some groceries and your time, and I get to cook with you, answer your questions, have some fun. I'm doing a half batch because I made half the batch, and then thanks to TV Magic, I'll show you what it looks like. But we're going to start with, we're going to heat up our pan, and then we're going to start chopping up the onions. I mentioned a few minutes ago that this is a very versatile dish that you could prepare it in different ways. I'm doing a heavy bottom soup pot. If you want to do it in an Instant Pot, you could do that. I actually do this recipe often in an Instant Pot, so you could do that. You're just going to adjust the time from 30 to 45 minutes, 35 to 45 minutes cook time, to about 15 minutes of cooking time. So try it with an Instant Pot if that's something you enjoy doing. I love to get all the barriers out of the way so that you feel comfortable and confident so that you will continue to do make these great tasting and nourishing recipes and get them into your life, into your family's life, and all that. Starting with the onions. Peeling the onions like this, and I'm going to make a series of draw cuts, or actually downstroke cuts, just like this. And you notice that I'm not cutting all the way through. Oh, sorry about that. Cutting all the way through. I'm not cutting all the way through. It's still intact. And then, as you can see there, I always show knife skills. Knife skills are one of the most important skills that you can have in the kitchen so that you feel comfortable, and it helps build that confidence in the kitchen. Then we're going to do the rocking motion just like this. Questions, comments, thoughts? Questions, comments, thoughts? All right. This looks great. We are good.
Dominic said that he sent us an email with the pictures. Did you?
Yes, Dominic, thank you so much. And I appreciate you doing that, folks. Make sure that you send your pictures. You can email them just as Dominic did. You can go Chef Marshall at chefmarshallobrien.com. You text them to me, Facebook Messenger them to me. Put them in the comments. That's the easiest way, but I will take it anyway. I just want you to enjoy, and we want to acknowledge you. So if you already did tonight's recipe, well, we'll be showcasing you, giving you a shout out next week.
And Jackie says getting the recipe on Saturday morning is so great. It helps you with our weekly shopping.
Glad to hear it.
I don't
Appreciate
know if
that.
Gabrielle mentioned that.
We're going to add olive oil into our pan. If you want to cook with ghee, you could certainly do that. Olive oil has a relatively low smoke point, so you need to be mindful that if you have the pan too hot, you're going to burn the oil, and it's obviously not going to cook. It's going to burn, and you don't want to have burned oil. That's not really good, nor is it very healthy for you. All right, pan is warmed up. Got this heavy skillet, cast iron, enamel glazed pot here. We're going to add our onions in just a second. Questions, comments, thoughts? Again, if you want the recipe in advance, just like Jackie was saying how convenient it is, go to chefmarshallobrien.com/shop. Just pop in your email address, and then you get the recipe shopping list in advance. Easy way. And again, you're not obligated to do it. But I want you to do it because I like doing this with you. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, peeling vegetables is kind of fun. How about this for a little tip? You can go multiple strokes up and down. Get it done half the time, just like that. My pan is almost hot. That's why I'm letting it heat up just a little bit more. That's why I am waiting to add the onions, but I will add those in just a second. I'm going to hold on to my scraps. One of these shows, I am going to bring 4 of my favorite ladies onto the show. Meg, Rose, Ginger, and Harriet. They are our pet chickens. And I haven't quite done it yet because it's just like the idea of having chickens running around and potentially,
I think maybe we should start with one.
One? Okay, fine. Fair enough. I think we have a hot pan here. This looks hot. The oil's shimmering inside. We talked about keeping your knife sharper longer. You want to use the back of your knife to scrape off the food. Speaking of knives, folks, I ask this every week. Where are you this week on your knife skills? Scale of 1 to 4. 4, Super Ninja Knife Master. 1, not so much, meaning it's scary to hold a knife. I would like to think that if you've been cooking with me over the course of these shows that your skill is going up and up and up. So where are we at? Scale of 1 to 4, folks. How are your knife skills? All right, let's continue with our knife skills. We're going to dice the carrots. Again, I am doing half a batch. So you could do a full batch, and maybe you are doing a full batch, and then you could freeze a portion of it. That's one thing I also love about this recipe, is it's a great freezer-friendly dish, meaning, get it all together, cook it, and then portion it out, have it in your freezer. You're all set. I think that is super awesome. All right. I love chopping onions. Here's a nice little tip for you. I love chopping onions, celery, carrots in advance. So I'll dice up a bunch of onions, pack them in a Ziploc bag, get the air out, pop them in the freezer. Good to go. I'll do that with garlic as well. I've mentioned that a fair amount. But just figure out how can you make life easier for you in the kitchen. I want to get all the barriers out of the way for you. So when you have it easy, it's going to be more fun, or at least maybe more tolerable, I don't know. But the point is you'll be more likely to do it. And that's the whole point of this show, is to help you be more comfortable doing it.
Tess is here. No worries, Tess. I was late too.
Thanks for joining us today, Tess. Great to have you. I diced up some of the carrots already, so we'll have that ready. But any questions, comments, thoughts? What has been a recent success, a recent aha that you've had in the kitchen? Yes, jump in.
Steve's knife skills is 3.
Nice work, Steve. You're making progress.
We only got 1 response.
1 response. Come on, folks. Knife skills. Where are we at? Where are we at this week? 1 to 4.
And Dominique says, I also added in some of the red peppers I had extra from making your sweet potato chili recipe.
Oh, nice. Excellent. To that point, cooking's an art. Baking's a science, right? You've heard me say that before. I want you to flex and try and adapt. And, if you're not sure of an ingredient, if it'll work, try it. Odds are it will be fantastic. And sometimes we're going to goof, or we're going to have a flavor that's really strong, and maybe go, next time maybe I won't add that, it'll be a bit less. I want you to try it so you can have that, you can just get that, build that level of comfort. I am not a big recipe guy. I've shared that with you before. But there's a big value in recipes because they give you a foundation. And once you've figured out the nuances with using certain ingredients and how they change and evolve and adapt when they're cooking and they're incorporated with other ingredients, then you can branch out and you'll feel more comfortable because you've got that foundation. So I definitely want you to feel comfortable with doing that. All right, we got our onions, and our zucchini. Our onions are getting nice and browned. If you had, we had it in the graphics and I didn't say it, but if you wanted to add meat to this dish, this is a great dish to add some beef, pork, chicken, any kind of game meat would be delicious in here. You would have added that right away with the onions, as we say in the recipe, and then continue on. But you don't have to put the meat in there if you don't want to. This is a great, great dish. Adding our carrots.
While you're adding that, Tammy says about knife skills, she is 3, but unlike you, I still watch as I chop.
And watching as you chop is a good thing, okay? Because the more you get comfortable, the quicker, the more efficient you'll be, and then it'll become second nature. I have cut my hands many times. Well, I shouldn't say many times, but I've cut them enough where I remember. And I remember why it happened, because oftentimes I wasn't paying attention or my mind was preoccupied. So the lesson, I guess, would be until you feel 1,000% comfortable, you don't need to be looking at somebody and itching your nose or whatever while you're chopping and slicing. Just watch what you're doing, and that's great. Be present at the end of the day.
You chopped it here in the live show.
I did. A few episodes ago, I nipped my pinky, and it was, I felt it, and we had to bandage it up. So, anyways, okay. Carrots, zucchini, we got going. We're going to add our spices. We're going to add our garlic. Every recipe that I make, it's not just about that it tastes great, and it has to taste great. And I want it to be easy for you, right? If it's really hard to make, and if cooking isn't the thing you do all the time, then it's probably not going to be used. And I want you to use my recipes. I also want you to understand, for those of you that are watching me for the first time, that nourishing is different than eating. You can eat to live or you can nourish to thrive. When you nourish your body, you will perform, feel, and look your best. All the recipes that I provide you serve some sort of benefit. So with this super awesome savory hearty lentil stew, it's going to help support your digestive system, which supports your immune system. Okay, we've got fiber-rich carrots and zucchini and onions that serve as prebiotics, which are going to help make your gut happy. If you have a happy gut, your immune system will be happy. And in today's world, if our immune systems are compromised in any capacity, we're going to have big-time problems. You know, a lot of people don't realize that over 70% of their immune system is in their gut. I did a recent TV segment. You can check it out on my website at chefmarshallobrien.com, and we talked about foods to improve your immune system. So definitely look at that. But I want the recipes to taste great, and I want them to work for you, not against you. If you want to use jarred garlic, go for it. You want to use garlic powder, minced garlic, you're going to use a 3-to-1 ratio. This is fresh garlic. Obviously, it's hydrated. It has liquid in it. You're going to, if you decide to use powder or granulated, you're going to cut back. You're going to cut back on that by a third. And like I said, I'm doing a half batch because I already made a batch. So this looks delicious. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Let's see. Tess made a comment. Let's see.
All right.
Lentils. Tess says, lentils were always a staple in our home growing up. Stews and soups with them are wonderful with sides of feta, Kalamata olives, and fresh crusty bread.
Wow, that sounds like I want to hang out when you were growing up. That sounds cool. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Tess. Spices, I said we're going to pop in there. The garlic we're adding now, I did not add the garlic immediately with the onions because it would be... garlic has naturally occurring sugar in it, which is fine. I talk a lot about sugar in my webinars, and if you hear me on TV and stuff, and just about how you need to monitor your sugar intake. But I'm not talking about the sugar in that context. It's different than here. Having said that, if you were to add the garlic with the onions, there's not a lot of moisture as the onions cook. The moisture evaporates. It would probably burn the garlic and make it bitter. So I add it with the other vegetables because we've got more moisture in there, and that way it won't burn. We're going to also add in the spices. So here's another health benefit. Spices not only make your food taste fantastic and smell fantastic and look fantastic. I just added the cumin and the thyme. But these thyme and cumin are great to help ease digestion. Okay, they're going to also be, because they're anti-inflammatory. There's a whole host of herbs and spices that are anti-inflammatory. So if you wake up with joint pain, knee pain, if you ever have headaches, get more herbs and spices into your life. Basil, oregano, turmeric, cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, coriander. I mean, there's so many spices that are going to make your food taste fantastic, but they're also going to help you function better and feel better, and that's what we want to do. Oh, I forgot to add those other ones. I had cut up extra carrots. You know, sometimes I get so excited in the moment I forget, but we're going to cook this for 35 to 45 minutes, so those carrots will be just fine. In the recipe, I say, cook them until they're just about tender. I'm flexible on this. The moral of the story is I just don't want you to burn anything, and also understand that you're going to be cooking your lentils for a considerable amount of time. Now we have green lentils here, and there's red lentils, brown lentils, French lentils. There's a whole variety of lentils, and these are super power, awesome, great tasting food. They're very inexpensive, high fiber, high protein, so they keep your blood sugar stable. And that's one of the things that we always talk about is, if you want to get through the day with energy to spare, keep your blood sugar stable. It will also, when your blood sugar is stable, it helps keep your cortisol levels lower, and I'll spare you all the details on that, but it's just going to make your day so much easier if you keep your blood sugar stable. And this is a great recipe to do that.
Question with the lentils.
Yes.
Jackie says, we had yellow and black lentils in the house, so plan to substitute for the green.
Go for it. Yes,
Any concerns about using lentils of 2 different sizes?
I like that you are thinking on those sizes because, for example, these green lentils, they're hearty. They keep their texture, and they keep their texture and shape. They keep their shape, is what I'm trying to say. If we used red lentils, And red lentils are about half of the size as these lentils. They will go to mush, and that's okay. That is okay, but the texture will be different. So to your question, and I'm trying to visualize your yellow, are those yellow lentils, are they split peas or are they actual lentil? I have not cooked with yellow lentils before. If there's significant size difference, you may want to add, if one's bigger than the other, add the bigger one first and then add the smaller one maybe 10 minutes after it's been simmering. So that would probably do the job. Great question. I love the awareness. You know, cooking is all about awareness. It's all about cooking, you know, it's with your senses. Touch, taste, smell, all that kind of stuff. And the more that you practice that and feel comfortable with that, you know, and that's why I love when you post your picture so we can see that and we can see how you create and how you're being flexible and adapting to that. It's just going to help you have a much easier experience in the kitchen. I'm going to add our vegetable broth to this. Tip I want you to think about here. Cooking tip is check the nutrition label and ingredient list on those broth boxes. Whether we've talked in past episodes, broth versus stock. They're, you know, flavored liquid. Just keep it simple. The point is, watch the sodium. There can be really high sodium in there. It could say low sodium. If it's like 500 milligrams, that's still a lot of sodium. But if you dilute it, then you're fine. But try to, you know, just pay attention because they can be really high sodium. And if you suffer from headaches at all, hypertension, high blood pressure, hypertension can, high sodium can affect those, and it can cause headaches. It can, you know, perpetuate headache challenges. So just be mindful of that. All right, this looks absolutely beautiful.
Jennifer,
Question? Question, please.
Jennifer is asking, will this work in a crock pot? If yes, how long?
Yes, it will work in a crock pot. What I would do is probably cook it for 6 hours. That's probably, you know, give or take, because crock pot is slow and low. Yeah. Yeah, chef lady, all right. So you can see who does all the cooking in the house, all right, just saying. But yeah, that's probably 6 hours. I mean, you could do it overnight, but you know, what I would do, and we were actually having some lentil conversations via email with some other folks earlier today, try it out. And you might find, oh, this worked perfect. Or maybe I would do it for another hour, or I would cut back a little bit. Okay, that's what I would do. I would like to, we got TV magic. So at this point, we got everything in the pot, okay? It smells absolutely wonderful. You're going to put a lid on. You're going to bring it to a simmer, put a lid on it, and then, you know, 30 to 45 minutes, it's going to be done. It's going to taste great. And then, and I'll take out the other one in just a second so you can see what it looks like. But I want to acknowledge folks did some great work last week. We had a chicken puttanesca recipe that was really, really, really well received. People liked it. Starting with Cindy Kish says, here's a better picture of your recipe. She sent me one earlier that she wasn't very happy with. She did it on a whole wheat wrap and added some cheese and avocado. Way to get creative, Cindy. I love that. That's super awesome. Well done. Well done. Tess Georgikopoulos, I hope I say your last name right. Tess, that looked fantastic. Our pasta puttanesca without the chicken, but with homemade baguette. Oh, I'm jealous. Nice. And there was a capers reference last week. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. That is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. BK Mullen says, chicken puttanesca with black bean penne pasta. I love that you varied up the pasta to make that work for you with a side of fresh mango. Nice work. Nice work. That looks absolutely beautiful. Folks, this is the whole point of the show. Try it up. You know, if you want more help, grab our Smart Nutrition Cookbook and Meal Planner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. It's going to help you out. Go to chefmarshallbryan.com. Please get that for a friend, family friend. You know someone that needs to learn how to cook. Set you up for success in the kitchen with that. It's a great, great recipe. Speaking of great recipes, the cookbook has great recipes. Speaking of other great recipe is this right here. Okay, this is the TV magic I was talking about. All right, now it is magically done. I just love TV magic. Look at how beautiful that is. Thick, rich, hearty. If you had meat in there, you would want it to be so like the meat was tender, more than fork tender, but maybe almost falls apart. That's probably how I would do it. But I do this recipe all the time, and we don't put meat in it. I mean, it's just such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful dish. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Liz is saying that it keeps cutting out. Is everyone having the same issue?
Good question. I don't know. Maybe. Thank you, Liz, for...
Heads up.
Liz, stand up on top of your couch, press your face against the window, and then hold the TV antenna. I suppose that's not internet antenna, and see how that works. But, okay. Anyways, that was funny. All right, we are at the, I think my jokes are coming to an end. I would like to just make one more comment. You know, when it comes to dishes like this, any kind of dish that you can make advanced, like what I like to call batch cooking, you know, one pot meal, batch cooking, cook once, eat many times. If you want to portion out half of it and then have it for the freezer for a later time, get in the habit of doing that, because life gets busy, we get busy, and it's so nice when maybe you forgot to, life happened and you don't know what you're going to have for dinner tonight or for the weekend, or to start your weekend, I should say. But you can open your freezer and you've got something that you made, previously. So don't be afraid to freeze dishes. Freezer-friendly meals are awesome. This is also one of those great dishes that you could have your kids get involved, or grandkids, help with the portioning, help with, with chopping, slicing, dicing, stirring, and all that. So have them, get the kids involved. Definitely do that. I want to make our recipes as fun, family, kid-friendly as possible. Please take pictures of your food. Put it in the comments. All right, folks, recapping on the tips. Recapping on the tips here, we talked about, just talked batch cooking. We just talked about using, chopping up vegetables and freezing them. Oh, I did dice, I didn't mention this, but I used fire roasted tomatoes, diced canned tomatoes. If you want to use regular canned diced tomatoes, totally fine. It's just a flavor with the fire roasted. Focus on those herbs and spices. Not only do they make your food taste great, look great, and smell great, but they're going to help you for your digestion. So that's a really good tip right there as well. And if you want to, be in a versatile dish, if you want to do it in an Instant Pot, you can definitely do that. I look forward to seeing your pictures. Folks, thanks so much for cooking with me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful meal with your family. Please make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Chef Marshall O'Brien right here. Or if you're watching on YouTube streaming live, it's Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence. Also find me on Instagram at Chef Marshall O'Brien. Please connect with us on social media so that we can stay in touch with you and keep bringing you these great shows and content and all that kind of stuff. If you want more help in the kitchen, definitely grab our Smart Nutrition Cookbook Meal Planner. Go to smartnutritioncookbook.com. Breakfast, lunch, dinners, snacks. We do meal planning in there. And I teach you how to set up your kitchen for success. I mean, that is like super big deal right there, because a lot of people just don't know how to get their kitchen started. So I help you get that set up, and the recipes taste fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, we're going to dish this up. Next Thursday night's recipe, you'll find out this Saturday morning. So get on the email list, chefmarshallobrien.com/show, so that you can cook with us in real time next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.